What's going on, guys? It is Mind Over Matrix, formerly known as Unfazed Calisthenics. Now, you might see me, what am I doing in my bedroom, right? Well, I'm firing back up my channel. I'm still going to be doing calisthenics and fitness stuff. I'm also going to be doing motivational talk. I'm also going to be doing some stuff in faith. And today, we're going to be talking about the boxing fights that took place over the last week. We have Andrew Tate versus Chase Demore, and we got Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. So I want to kind of just throw my 2 cents on both the topics, both the fights, because that's the big talk right now, the big meme world and all that stuff, right? So let's break it down. If you guys know my background, I probably mentioned in a couple of videos, I'm a former wrestler. I did some boxing myself. Nothing crazy with the boxing, just a little bit. I was more of a wrestler. That was my martial arts niche. And some jiu-jitsu. So I want to kind of break this down the way I see it. And we'll go from there. So let's talk about the Andrew Tate versus Chase Demore fight. So we're talking about Andrew Tate, not the internet version that everybody knows him by, not the controversy, but a man who chose to step into a fight. He's 40 years old, or he's just about to turn 40. I think he's 39 right now. He's a retired world champion kickboxer. And before I knew him on the internet, when I seen him, I didn't know who he was. He is a 4-time kickboxer. He's legit. I watched some of his fights on YouTube. He's a legit kickboxer, world champion. He's incredible. He's financially free. He's comfortable, right? He didn't need to fight. He didn't need to come out of retirement one day, say, "Hey, I want to test myself. I'm gonna fight a world champion." Now, of course, he's a billionaire, most Google man on the planet. Yes, he can call anybody out, and he's gonna get the fight, and everybody's gonna watch. It's just what it is, right? So instead of just sitting on the sidelines, he came out of retirement to box. And that's a completely different discipline against a legitimate, younger, bigger, actively competitor boxer, right? Dude's legit, Chase Demore. That matters. Boxing is not just kickboxing. It's a different rhythm, different defense, different damage, right? And Andrew Tate willingly walked into that environment knowing that these odds weren't in his favor. So to talk about the fight, he did go to 6 rounds. That was what was in the contract. So I think it should have went longer, yes. But that's what they agreed to. Who am I to say that, right? Went the full 6 rounds. He 100% won the first 2. There's no arguing that. Chase Demore couldn't even touch him. He got Chase Demore with some good shots. I actually, after round 2, I thought that Andrew Tate had it. And I do follow up with his Tate Confidential and all that. He's always frequently sparring. He's always training. He was very composed. However, after round 2, 3-6, dude was gassed. Even Chase Demore kind of got gassed out at some point, but I don't even know what happened. And I know he mentioned that maybe that was God's plan to, make him tired to lose. I don't know. Maybe he didn't train hard enough. Maybe the whole internet, his videos that he posted was just for the video and that was it. Maybe he didn't actually really train a lot of cardiovascular. But training and fighting are 2 completely different things. So his excuse, and I don't like to say it's an excuse because he really didn't make any excuses during the fight, but he mentioned the reason why he lost is because he got tired, and that's a fact. It's shown right there. He's not making any excuses, like unlike other fighters. He didn't complain. He owned it, and what stood out to me most wasn't the result of the fight. And again, I try not to be biased. I do follow him hardcore. I love his speeches. I love what he stands for. But what he said afterwards was, I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. And the line hits because it hits because it's honest, right? He wasn't there to prove anything to us. He was there so he wouldn't have to live with the what if. Now that just goes beyond the boxing ring, beyond that, right? It's a life quote that everybody should live by. I'd rather try, whether it's in business, whether it's a new career, whether it's shooting your shot with that Latina, right? It don't matter, you rather try and capitalize than not try at all and not live with the what ifs. So his message was great. And I think that's what people missed out of it. They see a guy claiming and that he was a 4-time world champion kickboxer, and he gets smoked the other 4 rounds, wins the first 2, and now Andrew Tate's a big meme. Everybody's talking crap. Oh, what happened to Big Alpha, Big Top G, all that stuff, right? And he didn't care. He had nothing left to prove. He chose discomfort. He chose to risk. He chose to fight. And my 2 cents on that one, and this is for anybody online talking trash, right? Unless you stepped into a ring, onto a mat, into real competition when your opponent's trying to hurt you, whether it's sparring, whether it's rolling around in jiu-jitsu in a tournament, all eyes on you, it's one-on-one. Nobody else can, it's not football, nobody else can take the heat for you. It's one-on-one. A wrestling mat, Friday Night Lights, right? Unless you step into that realm, you don't understand what it takes to just show up. It's a completely different ball game. So, win or lose, his mentality to me was inspiring, and I respect him so much more for it. He tried, he risked failure, and he walked away with his head high, and that takes real strength. And I think that message it's more than just boxing. It's life. It's how he wants people to go through life basically living by that quote. Try, fail, get up, try again. But that was my take on Andrew Tate. Now I wanted to kind of jump into Jake Paul a little bit. And a lot of people, he's an interesting topic. So Jake Paul is a YouTuber. He actually was a really good wrestler, I think in Ohio a long time ago. Maybe he did some boxing. I kind of forgot how we got into all this, but I'm not here to talk about that. I feel like a lot of people here didn't want to admit what they watched on the fight. So I've already seen the comments. People saying it was rigged, it was planned outcome, it was scripted. I don't think that fight was at all. Now, did I think the Mike Tyson fight had a payday politics involved? Yeah, I think there was something involved. I heard something about Mike Tyson financially, and now he has actually, I think, came out and said something that he wants to fight Jake Paul, no script, none of that stuff. But I'm not here to debate that. Do I think some of his fights could be scripted? Absolutely, yeah. But what happened in the fight, right? Jake Paul, he stepped into a ring with a large opponent. That dude is a monster, right? I think Jake Paul weighed in at 210. This dude was 245, whatever weight it was, and he just towered over Jake. Olympic boxer, taller, stronger, just 30 to 40 pounds heavier, right? And if you listen to what AJ said beforehand, his plan was very clear. He wanted to wear Jake down, break him down, drown him in pressure. And that's exactly what he did. Early rounds, you could say Jake held his own, kinda. But by rounds 5 and 6, you could see it. AJ turned it up, started hammering, and experience gap showed. Now, I do think Jake Paul's a legitimate fighter. I do. I think he's a great fighter. He trains hard, and he's getting better and better. Except for the Mike Tyson fight, I'm not going into that one. But all the other fights, he's knocked down some UFC fighters, and he's making a name for himself in the boxing realm. But let's see. But oh yeah, sorry, that's where I was going with it. That's just to prove that there is levels to this game, right? There's levels to every sport. I was a very great wrestler, right? But now you put me against state level champions, and I'm talking about like the states: New York State, Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, California, Iowa. Those states very big into wrestling. You put me against like state champions in that realm. There's levels to it. Then there's college level. Then there's NCAA level. So for Jake, no disrespect to him, but that's just reality, right? He stepped into a very high level, and I give him props. He didn't quit. He didn't fold, and he competed. And yes, he does get paid a lot of money, but he is legit because he keeps choosing real tests. And just like Andrew Tate, he came out to test himself, and he made that very clear. Jake Paul's testing himself. He's calling out all of the big fighters: Canelo Alvarez, everybody, right? Joshua Allen. I'm sorry, Anthony Joshua. Got his name mixed up. And he's choosing real tests. He fought solid opponents. He's taken his second loss now, but he keeps moving forward, and that's what separates these. That's what separates competitors from the spectators, right? So I think the big picture with this is that the fight proves something very important. You can do almost everything, anything in life that you are willing to commit your mind to, your effort, your volume of work. But you also have to respect that mastery does take time, humility, and experience. Now, Jake Paul went out there, competed when most people wouldn't even sign the contract. And it's easier said than done. People say, oh, get paid $1 million to get your jaw broken. Well, easier said than done. He deserves respect. So that's kind of my take on it. I know those were the two big fights that everybody was talking about, making fun of, that these boxers lost. One stepped out of retirement to test himself when he's almost a billionaire. He didn't need to do any of that, but he took a risk, right? And maybe it was God's plan for him to lose. Maybe I don't know. And same with Jake Paul. Jake Paul just continuously wants to get back in there, fight all these top dogs, prove himself to people. He's training, he's working hard, he's looking good, he's looking quick, he's looking strong. And my message, especially with the quote that Tate stated, that he rather try and fail than not to try at all. That is something that, whether you like him or not, that each and every one of us can put in our pocket, that is something to live by. Stop living comfortably. Take risks. Take that fight. Take that job. Try to change careers if you're not happy with where you're at. Talk to that girl. Whatever it is, you should rather try and fail than not to try at all, because if you don't try at all, then you'll have to live with the what if. But if you like this content, like, subscribe, throw me a comment, let me know what you think about the fights. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until next time, again, I'll be throwing out more calisthenics content again, fitness content, motivational speeches, motivational talk, and I'm going to throw in some faith in there as well. So if you guys are interested in all that, please support the channel. Glad to be back.